Hey, it's Jennifer Jones. Friends call me JJ. This platform is designed for a new leader that wants to become a great leader in the modern workplace. Over the last 15 years, I've learned valuable lessons that I want to share with you to get you there ASAP. When the leader gets better, we all get better. It's Monday again. Welcome to the Virtual Leadership Coffee Chat. If you don't already have it, go grab that cup of coffee, maybe that cup of tea. If it's a little late at night and you want a glass of wine, it's all right with me. You can always push pause. Let's go. Hey, welcome back. Thank you for listening in on what I believe are the top 5 things that we all should do as we try to become more effective in our leadership. I've spent time talking about how do you get to know your people, and we spent a good amount of time here recently talking about getting organized. But now for me, I'm going to take a shift. The last 3 areas I would suggest are a bit of a mindset shift, really about how you approach the role and how you behave when you're leading. So today I want to talk about leading with humility. David Bednar said that humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking less about yourself. It's a state of mind. And there's 3 things that you want to focus in on to really embrace this mindset. I think the first thing is you have to see reality, right? A lot of times we come in and our pride may tell us that, hey, I know something or I'm seeing something a certain way. And so I'm seeing it through the lens of my expectations, my experience, but I might not be seeing reality. There's a Japanese term, it's called gemba. And what that means is you're going where the work is being done. You're going to observe reality. You're not going to tell people what to do or to prove that you're right, but it's really an opportunity for you to observe through those 2 eyes what's actually happening. Because from that place of humility, hey, I don't know everything. I don't understand everything that's going on. I'm going to go there with an open mind and an open vision. I'm going to do my best to see reality. And that is the first step in leading with humility. One of the things that is really important there as a leader is you have to have a level of self-awareness. Now, here's the reality. We're not born with self-awareness, right? We're not born to be aware of how we are being perceived. You have to begin to put mechanisms in place to collect feedback so you can really understand how people are experiencing you. One of the great things that my husband always reminds me is that some things I might do something a certain way and my intentions might be one thing, but how is he experiencing me is really the reality. And so it's really important that we understand how folks are experiencing you. I think I shared with you all that I do a quarterly check-in with my folks. And one of the questions that's on that check-in is, what do you want your manager to start or stop doing? Now, most folks struggle with that question. So as a leader, you have to, 1, make people feel safe to give you candid feedback without repercussions. But then when you get the feedback, you have to do something with it. You can't ignore it. You can't prove them to be wrong. You really have to take that feedback and understand, here's how I'm being perceived. What adjustments might I need to make? Recently, my leaders really was a great source of feedback for me that forced me to adjust my behavior. So I would sit in meetings with our executive team and we would decide to make a move or make an adjustment to strategy. And in my desire to provide instantaneous communication, I would drop a summary of that meeting or a summary of that pivot or action that needs to be taken in our group chat that I have with my leadership team. And while I saw it as, hey, I'm giving them great, immediate communication so they're not left in the dark, the reality is that I was often dropping that information, which was heavy. It might have caused them to have to think differently about strategy, make an adjustment to the work that they were doing, or actually go do work. I was dropping that information in the middle of the flow of their day, and the reality, it was being really disruptive. Now, that was not my intention to disrupt, but that's the way they were experiencing me. And so one of my leaders gave me the greatest gift to say, hey, Jennifer, we love the fact that you're giving us this feedback and you're giving us instantaneous communication, but it's extremely disruptive. Sometimes it can create stress. So through that, me seeing reality, being more self-aware of how I'm being perceived, I was able to make an adjustment in my behavior to deliver the same type of communication with the same maybe outcome, but with less stress. So again, as a leader, it's important that you take the time to, one, go and observe the work and see reality, but also ask for feedback so you can become more self-aware of how folks are perceiving you. The second area is you have to openly acknowledge when you're wrong, when you got it wrong, when you made a mistake. Hey, you know what? I took us in this direction, and the reality is that I didn't see what it was going to cause, and so I made a mistake. As a leader, right? You are a human being. No one expects you to get everything right 100% of the time. And so when you say, "Hey, I missed it," or I might have been speaking out of my emotions, or maybe I didn't think that thing clearly, you give your folks permission to be human. And again, that it's not about like fake humility. The reality is that it's authenticity. It's who you are. But leading with humility creates a safe space for those around you to be human. I think the third thing, and this is really critical, and I'm actually going to do a segment diving into this a little bit deeper in a few weeks, is you have to do the hard thing. The reality is that as a leader, sometimes you are going to be faced with decisions or direction that's like not going to be easy, especially in a time that we live in right now where there's so much uncertainty and so many changes that are happening so rapidly. Sometimes you're going to have to make tough decisions. Sometimes you're going to have to make tough decisions without all the facts, right? And that takes a level of humility to do the hard thing that might actually challenge what people think of you, challenge whether not everybody likes you, but you have to do the hard thing. And it takes a level of humility to step out on faith that you're, with the best information that you have, are making the right decision or going in the right direction. Here's the other part about doing the hard thing, is that it puts everyone in a position of vulnerability and a position of learning. You know, when things are easy, you don't learn a lot. Like, you just kind of go with what you've always got in your toolbox. You pull the same tools out, you go do the work. But it's when you encounter the hard thing, the difficult things, those difficult decisions, those difficult pivots, that's where learning takes place. That's where breakthrough takes place. That's where innovation happens. But you have to be in a position where you're humble enough to say, I don't know everything, but I'm going to strike out on a path, and we're going to learn and adjust along the way. But that means as a leader, you have to do the hard thing, because those that play it safe don't move forward. They hang out in the same spot. And so you have to be willing to do the hard thing. As I said, I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this one, because I just believe that as leaders, especially in this time, this is why we need great leadership, not only to be empathetic, but there are some decisions, there are some paths that like we've never made before, or paths that have never been charted before, that are necessary so that we can continue to see innovation and navigate forward in a world that's filled with so much uncertainty. So until next week, I'll close it out with the last two areas around listening first and asking questions second. Have a great week.